So, how did I visit Pakistan? That's the $1,000,000 question. On each and every Pakistan vlog of mine, there are literally not hundreds but thousands of questions inquiring the same. So, today I'm going to take a stab and answer that particular question as to how this Indian guy visited Pakistan. Hello all, my name is Ravi and I live in the USA, but I'm of Indian origin. As you all understand, visiting Pakistan for an Indian is not so easy. So how did I visit Pakistan? Right? And then let me start off saying that I am a world traveler. I've been to 186 countries so far, and I'm on a mission to travel to every country on the face of this planet. And then Pakistan was my country number 181. I wasn't vlogging. I'm not sure why I never even thought of vlogging prior to Pakistan. So I started my vlogging journey. I have become a vlogger with Pakistan. And then this is my English channel. It's Soaring Eagle Thoughts, goes by my name Ravi Prabhu. And then I stopped posting a lot of videos. So with this video, I want to take it forward. I hope this video will be the springboard for me to move forward with my English channel. So all, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button and click the bell icon, and also follow me on Instagram for more travel content. Is it easy to visit Pakistan with an Indian passport? The answer is absolutely not, right? So does Pakistan issue tourist visas for Indian citizens or Indian passport holders? The answer is absolutely no, right? So how do you visit Pakistan? So I will cut to the chase and I will give you the answer right now instead of making you wait till the end of the video. I traveled to Pakistan using my American passport. Okay, so here is a little conundrum. So let's say there is a Pakistani born Pakistani guy, and then his passport says he was born in Pakistan. He holds a American passport or a UK passport. Does India give that person a visa easily? The answer is absolutely not. So India makes it very hard for people of Pakistani origin to grant a visa. So the same thing was applying to Indian citizens or Indian born citizens of other countries as well. But Pakistan changed its discourse, changed its way. They started issuing electronic visas easily because they wanted to promote Pakistan. And this happened last year. And I was one lucky guy because I applied for an online e-visa and instantly got that particular visa. And then the second part, the second important equation is there is a region of erstwhile Kashmir. It's called Gilgit-Baltistan. So Kashmir Valley is in Indian control, and then Gilgit-Baltistan area is in Pakistani control. So even if someone were to get a visa to Pakistan, people of Indian origin cannot visit Gilgit-Baltistan. I was really lucky. I was able to visit Gilgit-Baltistan as well. So let's talk about the visa process to Pakistan and what are the normal means of visiting Pakistan because they don't grant you a tourist visa. So the number one easiest way I think to visit Pakistan is to get a religious visa. So the place where Guru Nanak was born, Nankana Sahib, is in Pakistan. So it's easy that somebody of Sikh faith can apply for a religious visa, and Pakistan embassy does grant you a religious visa, and that's how you can go to Pakistan. But now Kartarpur, right? Kartarpur is open. You don't really need a visa to visit Kartarpur. So you apply on the right portal and then you get a visa. So many Indians have already traveled to Kartarpur. So I don't really have to dwell on that particular process in this particular video. So let's go back to the visa process. Since Pakistan doesn't grant you a tourist visa, number one, you can get a religious visa, which should be straightforward. But then if you are of Hindu faith and you have a Hindu name, it's really difficult because there are some Hindu temples in Pakistan like Kata Saj temple or the old erstwhile Sharda Peeth in Azad Kashmir. But then it's not really a driving reason for them to grant you a visa because there are lots and lots of temples in India. And why would they grant you a religious visa? So that's a little hard process. And then let's go to the second part of the visa or the second kind of visa. The second kind is family sponsorship. You know, we were all together 1947 until 1947. So there are so many families with relatives on either side. So if one of your family members with close ties were to apply or were to sponsor your trip, then you probably could get something like a family sponsored visa. In terms of Kashmir, there is a line of control that runs through Kashmir. So one part is on the Indian side, one part is on the Pakistani side. If there are families on either side of the line of control, then probably you can get a family visa, family sponsored visa as well. But then that does not apply to the vast majority of Indian citizens, so that can be ruled out. Right? Then what's the third kind of visa? The third kind of visa is educational visa. Right? Even if some university or some college in Pakistan gives you or grants you educational visa, then probably you're restricted to that particular university or region. And the other problem is that people of Indian origin, even if they were to get a Pakistan visa, they still have to go to the police station every day, sign up, and then sign the roster and so forth. So it's not really an easy way to visit Pakistan. Okay, so we covered religious visa, we covered family visa, we covered educational visa, and finally business visa. I know of many Indians that have gone into Pakistan using a business visa. So once again, for a business visa, you need some kind of a sponsor and you need to show some kind of a business deal which is valid, so they can grant you a visa to Pakistan. So essentially, because a tourist visa is not allowed, you need four kinds of visas: the religious visa, educational visa, family visa, and then business visa. There is also a medical visa, but then the medical visa provision is used by a lot of Pakistanis to come to India to get treatment. I'm guessing the Indian hospitals are at a higher level than Pakistan. So again, once again, it would be hard for somebody to apply for a religious visa and go to Pakistan. So that would be the visa process. That's really a summary of the visa process. So in a nutshell, going to Pakistan on a tourist visa is next to impossible. So what I put on my thumbnail is not really a clickbait. Was I tagged? Was I tracked by ISI? Is it true or false? The answer is true. When I was in Lahore, nobody was tracking me. When I was visiting Islamabad, nobody was tracking me. But when I went to Gilgit-Baltistan, so I took a flight from Islamabad to a city called Skardu, which is in Gilgit-Baltistan, which is northwest to the line of control. So when people land in Gilgit-Baltistan at the airport, all foreigners have to register. So when I was registering, they did see that I was born in India and I'm of Indian origin. And I made this little mistake of boasting or talking myself, tom-tomming that, hey, I'm from India, I'm still in Gilgit-Baltistan. That was a mistake. Because of that mistake, I had to fill in a lot of extra information. I had to share the phone number of the person I was traveling with. I also had to share the phone number of the driver I was touring with. They were literally getting calls in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, asking my status, and they were tracking it all through. I don't really blame ISI for it. I'm sure Indian raw agencies would do exactly the same if somebody of Pakistan origin is in sensitive areas like Kashmir. I'm not blaming them, but was I tracked? Yes. And then the only problem with that particular point was I took a friend from Lahore with me, and he was shooting a lot of footage using his big camera. We shot a lot of videos, but at the end, while we were returning back at the Gilgit airport, one ISI guy came over, and then somehow he wanted to see each and every video and photos that my friend shot on his camera, and somehow he extracted all that videos or all that material into their hard drive, and they gave us an empty hard drive. When we got home, we saw that everything was wiped out. Unfortunately, that's why I had to use my Instagram videos and my little rudimentary videos that are shot on my phone. And that's why my vlog 1 and vlog 2 are not up to the quality. And also, like I said, I started vlogging with Pakistan, so I didn't know the knickknacks or the fine, or I was not in tune with the fine art of vlogging. So that's why my vlogs from Pakistan are very rudimentary. But I'm definitely going to visit Pakistan once more, so I will present to you amazing content from Pakistan. So what do I think of Pakistani people? Were they hospitable? Were they friendly? How did they treat another Indian guy in Pakistan? So I'm going to give you a very candid answer. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I'm of Indian origin. I'm not going to see them in a negative lens or anything. I'm going to give you absolutely my candid experience and what exactly I experienced. The people of Pakistan are extremely friendly. As you can see in hundreds and thousands of vlogs by various foreigners that visit Pakistan, They say Pakistanis are very friendly. But then, how did they treat this Indian guy? I think they did not, most Pakistanis or 99% of the Pakistanis I met, they were not hostile to me. They were extremely friendly. The only point is, of course, there's a political division. They have strong views on Kashmir. Indians have strong views on Kashmir. So I'm not going to really indulge or talk about the sensitive areas or sensitive topics. But then, leaving that apart, the Pakistani people were extremely friendly. They were as friendly as Indians. And let me summarize this. Pakistani people haven't come from Mars, and Indian people haven't come from Venus. We were all one nation until 1947. And as you can see, history, time immemorial, Pakistan, the current country of Pakistan, was part of the greater Indian kingdoms, or greater India, the undivided India along with Bangladesh. So I've also traveled exclusively in Bangladesh. I've traveled many times in Bangladesh. I don't really see any difference between an Indian or Pakistani or a Bangladeshi. Very important point, leaving the political differences. If you weren't talking, for example, every place in the world I've traveled to, when I come across somebody that looks like an Indian or Pakistani, the first question we ask is, hey, are you Indian or Pakistani? Why? Because we cannot tell the difference between a Pakistani and Indian. There are tall Pakistanis, there are short Pakistanis, there are tall Indians, there are short Indians, there are dark-skinned Pakistanis, dark-skinned Indians, light-skinned Pakistanis, light-skinned Indians. So just by looking at a person, you cannot really find the difference between an Indian and Pakistani. So I'm driving home the fact, and I want to insist saying that we are all one and the same. Yes, we have a lot of political differences. We fought a lot of wars. There is a lot of Cold War. There is cross-border terrorism. Some Pakistanis say that India is conducting terrorist activities in their land. India says Pakistan is conducting terrorist activities in our land. And then I really am not privy to that information. I don't work for the RAW. I don't work for the ISI. So I don't really know the details. But then, yes, we hear a lot of negative things about Pakistan. And probably some are true, probably some are not true. Of course, me being an Indian, of course, I'm going to take an Indian stand. I'm going to support the political integrity and the territorial integrity of India. And unfortunately, people who from Pakistan that are watching, don't be mad with me. I'm sure you take a Pakistani stance. I respect that position. I take an Indian stance because the political and territorial integrity of India for me is supreme. Okay, so asides the political differences, the Pakistanis were extremely friendly. I'm a South Indian. My Hindi is not impeccable. My Hindi is okay. And then they spoke Urdu. I literally understood everything they said. They literally understood everything I said. So there wasn't a communication problem either. And then many parts of Pakistan, many cities of India, like for example, when you stroll in the downtown area or the old city of Lahore, you cannot really tell the difference if you're in Lucknow or Kanpur, Aligarh, Delhi, or even Mumbai. So we are one and the same. I'm not really trying to negotiate a peace treaty or anything. I'm a traveler. I'm giving you a travel perspective. So what all places did I cover in Pakistan? My first entry was into Lahore. So there was a little problem because in September of 2019, Narendra Modi, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, abrogated Article 370 in Kashmir. And because of that, Pakistan broke off all diplomatic ties, business ties, every other relation. There were no flights. And then I really wanted to cross the Wagah border because one of my favorite movies was Veer Zara. And every time I see Shah Rukh Khan and Rani Mukherjee and Preeti Zinta crossing the Wagah border, I always had this dream of me doing or imitating the same thing. But unfortunately, everything was shut off. So last minute, I had to take a flight from Mumbai to Dubai. And from Dubai, I went to Lahore. So what could have costed me maybe 500 rupees, right? Like going from Amritsar, crossing into Wagah would cost you a maximum of 500 rupees or less, including the taxis. I had to spend a whopping 30 to 40,000 rupees, Indian rupees, because it's a last minute flight to Dubai and a last minute flight to Lahore. So the first city I went to was Lahore. And then I really spent 3 to 4 days in Lahore. My most favorite spot in Lahore was the Badshahi Mosque. Ever since I saw the Jama Masjid in Delhi, I always wanted to visit the Badshahi Mosque in Lahore. It was really a pipe dream, right? It was a far-fetched dream for me when I was planning, and finally seeing The Badshahi Mosque was really a dream come true. And the cuisine of Lahore, people say it's very famous. And then, uh, did I like the cuisine? Yes, Lahore cuisine was very, very good. But how do I compare with India? Because I'm a South Indian, we tend to eat more spicy and hot stuff. I prefer the Indian cuisine, but Pakistani cuisine was extremely good as well. And then the second city I visited was Islamabad. Islamabad, I can compare Islamabad with very planned cities in India like Chandigarh, Gandhinagar. May probably the closest match I could find to an Indian city is Gandhinagar, because Gandhinagar is also very green, very well planned. Islamabad is also very, very, very well planned, and and then even Bhubaneswar in India is very well planned. So Pakistan capital Islamabad is extremely beautiful. It's very green. It's surrounded by beautiful hills, Margala Hills, I believe. And then there is this Faisal Mosque, which was one of the largest mosques in the world. And by the way, I will put the iCard information, my Lahore vlogs, my Islamabad vlog, and finally Gilgit Baltistan. I know of lots and lots and lots of Indians that have been to Lahore, Islamabad, and Karachi. So it's no big deal that I travel there. But then I proudly claim myself to be the first Indian vlogger in Gilgit Baltistan. And some Indians give me hate saying that, hey, you have an American passport, how are you Indian? That's an important question I want to answer. Being Indian is not a nationality. Being Indian is an ethnicity, right? I speak Indian language. I emote Indian, right? I think Indian, I breathe Indian. Just because my passport is of some other nation does not take away the fact that I'm Indian. My accent is Indian. Do I speak like an American? Absolutely not. So being Indian is an ethnicity and not a nationality. That's why I proudly claim myself to be the first Indian vlogger in Gilgit Baltistan. If somebody wants to prove me wrong, I will stand corrected and change my statement. I'm not disputing the fact that many Indians might have visited Gilgit Baltistan due to family, due to some other reason, whatever reason it is. But I'm claiming myself to be the first Indian vlogger, somebody that traveled through Gilgit Baltistan from a non-family basis, strictly on tourism purposes, and recorded my travel. So I feel really proud that I'm the first Indian vlogger in Gilgit Baltistan. Okay. Having said that, so to summarize my 9-day stay in Pakistan, it was absolutely an amazing stay. People were extremely friendly. I actually traveled all around Gilgit Baltistan with 4 other guys. So we had our driver and then driver come tourist guide, and I had 2 Mustafa brothers, 2 Mustafas. One Mustafa that works in Islamabad and another Mustafa that's also from Gilgit Baltistan, and then he works in Islamabad as well. And then Mustafa's brother Nasrallah Bhai. So we all traveled together. We had an amazing time all through. Nowhere did we fight, argue. We were having friendly arguments saying that, hey, this part is ours, this part is ours, but nothing else. And I owed each of them a debt of gratitude for showing me beautiful Pakistan, beautiful Gilgit Baltistan. And then did I at any time feel I'm in a different country or in hostile territory? Absolutely not. Every place I went to in Lahore and Islamabad, I told people clearly that I'm from India. Other than the political differences, we didn't have any problems. And then we went to the Kunjara Pass. Kunjara Pass is the border between Gilgit Baltistan and China. Even when I went there, which is truly in that part of Kashmir, erstwhile Maharaja's Kashmir, I told a lot of people, a lot of tourists that were visiting Kunjara Pass that I'm Indian, absolutely got no head at all, other than the fact that people were questioning from the side, asking, hey, you need to question your stance on Kashmir, or why do you not fight for the people of Kashmir? Other than those kinds of questions, nobody threatened me with violence, nobody wanted to kill me, or nobody wanted to even abuse me. So that was my experience. And then the good part of Kunjara Pass was everybody was amazed that they saw an Indian. Even they were citing the same thing, saying, hey, it's easy to see an Indian in Karachi or Islamabad or Lahore, but they have absolutely never seen an Indian in Gilgit Baltistan. So that is my true candid experience. I'm not taking a political stance. And if I were to take a political stance, of course, I am with the Indian polity. I am with the Indian theory. I am with whatever India supports. Please don't take me wrong. But then I don't want to make this a political debate. I don't want to talk about anything else other than a true tourist wandering through Pakistan. Okay, and then finally, will I go to Pakistan again? Absolutely yes. Right? Would I want to advertise prior to me visiting Pakistan? Absolutely not. It takes out of the 20 million or 200 million people, it takes just two people to ruin everything. I don't want one hater to come and abuse me or threaten me or kidnap me or whatsoever. It can happen anyway. So that's why I'm not going to announce my trip to Pakistan prior to visiting there. But I absolutely want to visit Karachi. I want to visit the Swat Valley. I want to visit Chitral, and I want to visit the Kalash Valley. These are prime on my mind. Of course, given a chance, I want to visit Balochistan. And then people that I spoke with in Pakistan told me that even a local Pakistani from Lahore or Islamabad needs a permit to travel through Balochistan. So me being of Indian origin and me being a foreigner, I'm not sure if I would get the permission. Probably I can travel in Quetta. I'm not sure, but then I'm gonna inquire all this information. Absolutely want to visit. I visited Gilgit-Baltistan, which is a separate province from Azad Kashmir. I was told that I need a special permit to visit Azad Kashmir, so I missed it last time. So next time I'm gonna visit Azad Kashmir, the Neelam Valley, and then I definitely want to see Sharda Peeth. Okay, so this is my summary, guys. Hope you like this particular video. Like I said, I'm gonna use this video to springboard or to get my YouTube English channel running. So please subscribe, and then please like this video, and please share this video as well, as this video can help many Indians seeking information on Pakistan. And if you have any questions on the Pakistani visa process or my experiences through Pakistan, please feel free to message me on Instagram, Soaring Eagle Trots.